IVM.
Never before in the history of radio, television, film or dance bars has there been a show like The Seen and the Unseen. Well, it's mostly about the scene because who knows what the unseen is. And it's a podcast hosted by Amit Verma. New episodes out on the IVM podcast website, app or wherever you get your podcast from. Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Latest edition of Cock and Bull. Cyrus Says morphs into Cock and Bull because we have 4 great people on the show. And I don't mean the Beatles.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
I want to talk about airline culture. This is Cyrus Says because we do fly, some of us. Although as of now, many flights have been grounded, but we won't talk about that. And I don't understand if you're sitting on your seat and the person next to you doesn't realize that there's a little area which is yours and a little area which is theirs. I can't understand why a person would put their hand across me and shut the blind. I was like, you can't do that. That's my space. You can't put your hand across my chest and put the blind down. You have to ask me first, may I put the blind down? Do you mind? There's a lot of sun hitting my eyes. And then I will put my hand out and I will shut the blind. Indians, understand the laws of behavior. Etiquette. And I don't mean the etiquette you take to board the plane. Etiquette with an E. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus Says.
All right, we're in. I don't know why I keep saying rolling. Let me explain. We're not in narcotics except for Amit Doshi. Amit, if you want to deny it now.
Sure.
Well, keep it as a grey area. Yeah, it may work for us.
Yeah, keep it vague.
Maybe all the people...
green area.
All the people who tune into the program will be either suppliers or buyers. Hey, man, that's a huge market. You were saying, me.
No, so this thing you're talking about, your personal space, I have to ask everyone a question right now. So if you are sitting, you know one of those 3-3, right? Like, if you're in the middle seat, then don't you get both armrests? No.
How can you get both armrests?
Because, like,
you're a Malayali,
you have no
maths.
space.
There are 4 armrests and 3 people. It's done to destroy India. I'm telling you.
So
When you
which
get the
armrest
middle
you?
seat is trying to find another flight.
You never get a middle seat. That's your fault.
The middle
No, I'm not
seat,
saying me. I always get like aisle or I
under.
get like window. I love window. No, so then my next, the corollary to this question is then which like rest do you take, right or left?
Oh,
You're
good
taking
que-
someone's.
See, this is
You
all
don't take
good
none.
questions.
That's unfair.
But understand there's a caste system in a plane. When you're on seat 24B, which is the middle seat near the toilet, right? Now remember that when and they tease you, it's again sarcasm, you press the button to take the seat back and it goes back and hits that back part of the plane, right?
Yeah.
And so by 1 inch, it goes 1 inch back. That is the worst seat in the plane. Then you got 2 fatsos next to you, you're in the middle, and you dare put your right hand or left hand out. Because there's no space left.
I think it's a diplomacy situation. You get in, you figure out the people next to you, you see where you can put your hand and they'll be okay, you see what activities they're up to. I think it's very much like understanding the others.
It's a community.
I've also
No,
grabbed...
you don't talk about it.
No,
you just
it
like
is
either exert your
community.
power and put your hand first and be like, this is mine.
Or you can grab
yeah.
you can grab the crotch nearest to you and see how that goes. Maybe
but if
I don't see that.
maybe then you can share the seat. Who knows what happens
No, but I
next?
do like if I'm in the window, because I love the window seat. I always leave the armrest.
Now
for
let's
the
examine
person
that, ladies and gentlemen. She loves the window seat. So you're 30,000 feet high. What do they do with that bloody window? It's only worth looking at for 3 minutes on takeoff and 3 minutes coming down when you're just over. And that too in daytime. Otherwise you see absolutely nothing. I want window. Kids kill each other over window. Window is a waste of time.
But it makes me very happy.
Why?
The aisle seat a little less in demand.
Oh, that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
love
feel
the
like
aisle
it's-
seat.
it's-
Yeah,
That's
you're
the
right.
seat.
I feel like the window seat is to always remind you, you're flying.
Yeah.
My God, Cyrus, look at how amazing this is. You are
The
flying.
moment I hear Indians on the plane on paper bags opening, I know I'm flying. The moment I step into the toilet and I can smell it from row 7, I know I'm flying. The moment the air hostess hits my elbow
you have
because there's
lost
no room
all
for her to
wonder
walk,
about
I
this
know I'm flying.
human engineering marvel of flight.
Flying is highly overrated. Now we have to go straight into shuttles and go to the next planet. Don't you know there's no space left here? Lodha himself said he's not building anymore. हो गया capacity, हो गया, पूरा खत्म. Let's move to Mars. Sharad Pawar presents Mars. Buy now. Lavasa. With international school. Cricket field, football field, hospital, playground, stage area, convention center, and party room. And don't forget gym, sauna, and massage therapy.
Movie theatre.
And
movie theatre.
Oh, Indians, movie theatre. First,
the movie theatre.
Got it wrong.
So last month I had a really nice flying experience. I was flying to Bangalore by Go Air. It was a 10 p.m. flight that obviously got delayed to 1 a.m. So I sat at the airport for hours. I got on the flight and we started flying. And then halfway through they announced that like there's something wrong with the engine. We're turning back around.
What are you saying?
So we came back around to Bombay and then we were just like seated in the plane. We weren't allowed to like get out. We were just waiting for them to fix it. And they gave us food bags, okay, like a box of chips,
So
biscuits.
exactly like the Tihar jail experience.
Oh, even worse because they gave us the chips and then everybody ate the chips immediately because everybody was hungry. And then 20 minutes later they were like, made an announcement saying, please don't eat the chips, they've expired. And I was like, we've already eaten all the chips.
Oh my God.
And they expired by like 2 days. So it's okay. I mean, they were just trying to like
They were
make
trying to be
themselves
safe,
safe. Yeah,
yeah.
to be
So
safe.
that flight which carried the fresh chips hasn't landed. Oh, it's amazing. But I think again we have to prepare ourselves that India has bitten more than they can chew. Poor Vijay Mallya has taken the dock for that. But the point is, we've got infrastructure. Mumbai Airport, we have 2 runways,
Yeah.
but they're sort of in the same spot.
They cross
Yes.
each other.
They cross each other. So
Yeah.
what was the idea behind that?
Well,
we have 2 runways, we can use only one at
Yes.
a time. So what?
So it's dumbassery, right? It's basically a backup runway rather than 2 separate
Yeah,
runways.
yeah,
That's the idea.
Don't most cities have just one though?
But
no,
a smaller
it depends-
city is fine, no?
Depends on the airport
Like
size.
Bangalore has one runway.
No. Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, you've got to have 5 runways.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
depends
work
on the
otherwise.
size of the airport. No,
Okay.
it depends on your traffic. Now,
So Bombay should have
Bangalore's
Way
runway,
more than
Bangalore's
that.
runway starts in Bangalore, but the airport is in Kerala, so it takes a long time to reach.
No,
Okay.
but I've had this experience like when I remember when I was landing at Heathrow Airport and
Oh,
our
big
bus.
shot,
I
Heathrow.
know.
I know.
Sometimes I go there. And
We are
so,
talking Bangalore mushkil se. You reach Heathrow.
Heathrow. So I remember
And what kind of
the
Malayali
bus-
goes to Heathrow without stopping in Dubai? What the hell are you doing?
I did, but I didn't get out of the plane.
Just wave to the folks. Then?
Hi, mommy. So I remember when we were getting the bus like to take us into like from the plane to the airport or whatever, and I could see like a queue of planes in the sky. Like
Oh, waiting to
all
get-
waiting to land. It would look
but
insane.
it-
Like you
us-
see how
Amit
busy
will know
airports
this.
are.
No, Chicago, right? Number 1.
Chicago
Every
is
30
busiest.
seconds or 20 seconds,
Yeah,
a ridiculous
busiest.
figure. How do they manage that?
They really, really well kind of, they got...
But you can't have a bad day as air traffic control,
No, you
you know.
cannot.
Your
But I mean,
phone
it's
rings,
the toughest.
you're welcoming one plane and your phone rings, you're like, yeah, mom, I'll be late tonight, alright. Bang!
No, there are a lot of studies about that, right? The highest stress job in the world is air traffic control.
Yeah.
Like, it's the
It's
highest
the
stress
highest
job.
number of suicides in a job as
No,
well.
that's dentists.
No. Really?
I should not laugh. That's a terrible thing.
Air control traffic is also very high on.
It
on
probably is
suicides,
high, but
yeah.
the
because you're
highest
sitting in
suicide-
one room
yeah.
the whole time just looking at a screen.
But-
you can't take your eyes off it. God.
Yeah, but dentists are definitely the highest suicide.
Why?
deaths.
Bad breath,
I
bad
have
breath.
a
You're
lot-
dealing with bad breath all day. And you'll be
I have a
nice
lot
to the
of,
client. Yes, Mrs.
family
Sharma.
who are dentists,
You're
so I have
lovely
fun with them
today.
at this time.
You can't breathe.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I have a lot of family that are dentists, so I have
All
fun
gone.
with them at this.
I'm so sorry. But you said. So, I mean, you set it up.
No, but it's funny
You
joke,
set it
right?
up.
That-
Low hanging fruit, everyone.
Sorry. Terrible. Listen, we have a show called Cock and Bull. It's about what's happening in the world around us. And as for sophisticates, we talk and spin stories. And all we've done is talk about airlines and our personal selfish elite problems. It's like when the
That is
Kisans,
so true.
Yeah.
and the Kisans landed up at Azad Maidan, which is near Bombay Gym, where I am all the time. And I'm thinking about my traffic issues. After a little while, you realize that these
this
guys
was-
have suffered and come from
Exactly.
all the way.
180
Their entire
kilometers or
lives
something,
at
yeah.
stake. People committing suicide, blah, blah, blah. And what are we worried about? Damn it, I'll be late to the studio by 4 minutes because these buggers have collected there.
I love how like when everybody started saying like they walked in the night to avoid.
They did.
Yeah, they did. It was very nice, but a lot of Bombay people really patted themselves on the back for being nice about it. Like,
Yeah.
we were out handing out food.
Yeah.
The spirit of Bombay. I'm like, don't
Handing
make this
out
about
food?
you. Yeah, people were handing
You
out
know
food
what we
and
do
biscuits.
now? When there's extra food, you want to get rid of it. The best thing is to find a mocha. Those
gone-off chips all over.
It's called the dustbin.
I love how we made even the Kisan March about ourselves. Like, look at how great we were.
we are self-congratulatory.
Yeah.
We're always all
That's
about
so
the
nice.
spirits of
Can I be
Bombay.
insensitive for a second? Because I saw Top Shot. I stood on a bench and I was looking into Azad Maidan and I saw all of these guys wearing these red hats, right? It looked like a Shamak Dawar ever B-grade production of dancers because they all had white outfits and red hats and their movements were almost collective. So I thought of early Subhash Ghai meets Shamak Dawar, bad film that I'll never see. So one of those. Having said that, let's move on and show respect to all the farmers for their suffering.
They've left right now.
And let me tell you,
they called it off yesterday.
They went back by bus.
No, they went back by train. They
went back by train.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Oh my God, imagine making them walk back. That would be awful.
Walking from Nashik to Mumbai is not the problem. Walking in Mumbai was the problem. Both हो गया demand नहीं चाहिए मेरे को but train. But apparently out of 9 demands, 2 were agreed to.
Yeah.
And they
the others
that.
were set up to be like
but
looked at.
But the most important ones were agreed to. Right? They agreed to the land rights, which is I think which is the number one thing. That's the number one thing.
I've never totally understood. But are we discussing that?
No, so I mean, like it's just basically the idea is that if you have tilled this land for
you've tilled the land, somebody else says they own the land.
No, but who owns the land? The land is owned by the government at this point.
Yeah.
No, the land is not owned by the government. The land is owned by the Adivasis. We're talking about people who's have nothing else going for them in a sense. They're not urban in any way. They cannot get employment anywhere. They're not part of our main society. Right. But anyway, I'm not getting into this because this is a very tough thing. Socially, you to balance society in India is not going to be. So whatever you do, you'll always pick a side and somebody will be suffering.
I guess that is true.
Take your mother's side, your father suffers. It's like that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I mean, like, the idea that if you are somebody who has been on this land for a long time, you should have some rights.
They're tilling it.
You should have some rights.
Isn't it how the renter's right works in India?
Something like that.
Like Bombay, like if you live in a house for years, you get it. You've done nothing.
Yeah, but this is a more noble cause. They're actually tilling the land.
Yeah, I'm saying they absolutely deserve it. I see no reason why they wouldn't
on Marine Drive who's been living there for the last like 90 years.
Yeah, I see no reason why they shouldn't get the land.
Yeah, my friend Kunal checked everybody by name. What is your name? Ganpat. What is your name? Vinod. What is your name? Nobody was called McDonald. Nobody was called McDonald, mate. What happened to our country? I mean, all these songs we grew up with, old MacDonald had a farm. Not one of those farms was in India. We outsourced the farms.
It should be like Old McFudke or something like that.
It was exactly that. Well done, May. You opened your account to the boundary. What topics do we have, guys?
Let's see. We have quite a few topics. This was the first one, actually, the farmer thing.
The farmers.
The farmer in the den. The
farmer
in the
Gandhi
den.
Spoke about how they knew that Rajiv Gandhi's assassination was coming. What do you think about that? We knew our father was going to die.
I think also in the broad sense of when you're, not to say that he was going to be a martyr, but in the broad sense that it's a difficult seat to be in, and you always expect, having had the Indira Gandhi thing on your back of your head, etc., a few assassinations in the subcontinent, left of the border and right of the border if you go towards Sri Lanka. I think it's more like him trying to say that, it's a hot seat. And when you take this job, you always know that the end result could be this.
He's making a point about his privilege though, right? Because he's saying like, yes, I'm privileged and I come from this background, but also it's not easy to have lived with this kind of bodyguards around me all the time as a child. And
Julius Caesar made the same remark. See what he accomplished.
It's kind of Britain. I listened to a podcast by the BBC called The Assassination. It basically is a 10-episode series around Benazir Bhutto's assassination, which is somewhat similar. It's somewhat similar in that kind of context, right? And one of the takeaways that you got from there is that she was warned the night before she went to the rally that, there is a serious bomb threat to you. And nonetheless...
Well, she warned a lot, but... So what happens if you're warned 10 nights in a row? You start taking it less
This was different. This time the ISI chief came to warn her.
ISI chief?
One very, very... Yeah, I think it was the intelligence chief. The intelligence chief is the ISI chief.
Yeah,
so the intelligence chief came to
warn her.
But I
thought they were in cahoots with whatever.
So there's a lot of... So, I mean, like, this podcast is a really interesting examination of exactly how much
And they have different lobbies in the same organization. They have the orthodox right wing, they have the more liberal, westernized wing.
Exactly. But what I found was really interesting is that that this stuff is there. She had an attempt which was done on her 60 days before she actually got killed. But still, the thing is
So on that night, what happened finally? She said, I don't want security.
No. She wanted the security. And she's basically, they told her that we don't think you should go because we know that there is intelligence that there are bombers coming for you. She's like, listen, you are the state. It is your job to provide me security. I am not going to not do my rally simply because you are unable to do the security. It's your job to do the security, so you must do it.
Who they suggest killed her?
In the podcast, it's all over the place. Nobody really knows. I mean, like
it's like Zia's that mango story.
So what they do say is that it doesn't really matter who actually killed them. And I mean, like Asif Zardari said this, right? What mullah killed her is not really important, right? I mean, like there are all of these guys are there. Who is the actual guy? It's not that important. Who was the specific guy? What's important is what were the machinations behind it, right? And who was responsible for that kind of stuff. And the conclusion they come to is that basically she gave a speech in the UN maybe about a year before that in which she said that she will allow AQ Khan to be interviewed by the International
International
Atomic Organization.
The one scientist in Pakistan.
The one, yeah, the
I'm
guy.
just kidding. All good. Yeah.
But they said that they were going to allow him to be interviewed by the IAEA, and that basically is the thing that the old guard of the Pakistani government could not take.
So was that the army?
So that's the conclusion that the guy who made the podcast has come up with. But then there are accusations against Musharraf, there are accusations against Zardari, there are accusations against a lot of different people, right? But the guy who made the
Nobody
thing...
blamed the Russians. Today we all blame the Russians. Anything goes wrong, Russian. Except Arnab. Arnab doesn't blame the Russians. He blames the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis that caused the Russians. Sorry.
No, but it's just a really interesting podcast. I think that's it's kind of analogous in terms of like,
why
what's
would
happening.
you celebrate another podcast when there would be competition to our podcast? Never mention that again, Amit. It's bad marketing. In fact, remove your Gujarati card. You're no longer Gujarati.
Well, don't worry.
You're Parsi.
It is a competition.
Who talks like that?
We can only listen to one podcast a day.
Yeah.
It's either Cyrus Says or it's Benazir Bhutto's assassination podcast.
How do I sell Cyrus Says? They've got this fantastic podcast which looks into an assassination of a world leader and pinpoints left, right and centers far more. What do? We freewheel about airline seats and make fun of poor Kisans? Come on! What's that podcast
It's a different podcast.
Let's advertise it.
Yeah, it's a different podcast, man. It's already gotten this advertisement.
What's it called? So they can
It's
also
called The
talk
Assassination
about
by the
Cyrus
BBC
Says.
World Service.
This title we should
I feel like they should talk about Cyrus Says also in one of the episodes.
Assassination should be our title because that's what we do basically.
All right. I think the next one we have is Japanese appetite drives crab farming in the Sundarbans. Which is just a free trade story, isn't it?
It's a bad thing for the fragile environment of
cultural
Sundarbans,
imperialism.
It
when
adds
rich countries
salinity
can
to the
come
land.
to another land.
I love the fact that like now, because you talk about like Bangladesh so much, that now we're actually introducing a lot of Bangladesh news from like Naveen. Because I was like, why are these Bangladesh stories? I was like,
I was born during the Bangladesh struggle, the birth of Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So my name is Bangladesh in that sense. If you're sort of born, on July 4th, 1776, your name is America. You shouldn't have a name like Mexico.
All right.
There's that Trump school gun training thing.
Oh,
which
God, that's just...
I'm assuming you've talked about it before. Because
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know if we actually have, really. Because
they're still going ahead with it. They're still going to train
When it comes to
teachers
guns,
to use
for
arms.
some reason, my friend from Balkeshwar knows everything, which scares the crap out of me because there's no gun in Malabar Hill for the last 40 years.
Okay.
But there was one guy tried to correct you about the Kalashnikov.
I know, I saw that.
So who's right in the end?
I'm obviously wrong. I don't know shit about this stuff, man.
What the hell are you doing? You come on the podcast.
What were you corrected
You
about?
promote the assassin.
I thought the...
What the hell? And then you give us wrong information. I got no legs to stand on anymore, man.
I thought
got the worst podcast in India.
M16 was a derivative of the AK-47. It's the other way around.
Okay.
Listen, the chicken and egg.
You should have known this.
Yeah.
how dare you?
Please understand,
How dare you.
I am the idiot on the show, but some of you all have to come up with good stuff. We can't work otherwise.
Amit is talking about
Otherwise-
assassination and doesn't
Yes.
know what his guns are.
Yes. There you go.
Well, yeah.
All right, listen, we have to take a break.
Okay.
We will research something properly and
right.
act like we know what we're talking about.
Okay.
When we come back,
That's
let's
going to
be...
be tough, man.
Yeah, let's be sincere, let's
right.
be open and frank, and let's be a little
The
erudite.
opposite of Cyrus Says, isn't it?
Well,
To be
look at the
sincere.
competition.
You can make an attempt.
Look at the assassination. Look at the competition. It's not going to be easy for us. Somewhere out there are people who talk sense. We'll take a break. We'll come back.
Hi, I'm Ambika.
I'm Hoshna. Over the last couple of years during our travels across India, we've had the privilege to meet and interact with a number of passionate people who are involved in preservation or conservation of a local heritage, art form or culture, or even environment and wildlife.
So in this season, we shine a light on some of these individuals and organizations and the work they are doing, many of whom are using travel as a means to give back to their communities.
By showcasing these wonderful people and bringing their work to a larger audience, it's our small way of aiding their effort and giving you an opportunity to be part of a unique travel experience. New episodes of the Rediscovery Podcast out every Monday on IVM Podcasts.
Okay, welcome back. I don't know why I say that. I hate that welcome back. On television, keep telling you, say welcome back, say welcome back. Do you think the viewer really cares?
No, our listeners don't go
No, but
anywhere.
if they
Yeah.
do, this formal
They love
welcome
our
back,
ads.
do you think they listen, oh, welcome back, oh, thank you so much. I don't think
Like,
that
what's that
happens.
Cyrus so polite?
Yeah.
Constantly
No
welcoming us.
welcome back. No bloody welcome back. If you're here,
You should have been
we're not
here,
out the
yeah.
hell, yeah.
Exactly.
Why
You're
did you
not
want
coming.
to leave? You should not have left.
By now, they've all gone to assassination anyway. So, who am I welcoming? Only for the welcome that one guy who wants to fight with Amit over the guns. Two Guju boys from Walkeshwar who know everything about guns. I don't know what the hell's happening. Okay, so where were we? What's up?
We were going to talk about Sorry, what were we going to
The
say?
Chinese,
11.
He's French Chinese. Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping.
11 Jinping.
That's it.
11 Jinping.
Apparently, Doordarshan did it a few years back.
Yes, I remember that.
I called him 11 Jinping. But 11 is right because he's going to stay for 11 plus years.
Yeah.
What I love about it's called the Democratic Republic of China, is it not?
Yeah.
And they changed the constitution to allow him to be king.
Is it People's Republic of China?
People's Republic of China.
Republic.
Yeah.
And they changed the thing to allow him to be the leader for life.
Yep.
Yeah, how can
So
you do
that's a
that?
decision that's made democratically by everybody, including Jinping.
He's the leader
right?
of the party, right?
Yeah.
Of the ruling party.
Yes.
There's no democracy
So
in
they
China.
stand around. And you think it'll work in India? This whole.
It could.
Listen,
Stop it!
possibly
Be careful.
no. So
I just set you up. You don't have to answer.
Okay, all right. So what happened? So they abolished term limits, right? That's what they've done. They haven't. It's not like they've decided that he's president for life.
Yeah.
That's the de facto this, but they abolished the term limit,
Yeah,
right?
the two-term.
In India, we don't have term limits.
We don't.
We don't.
As long as your party wins, you can be PM.
Yeah,
for always.
exactly.
Oh,
so,
right,
they are
that's
not,
true.
so it's not really relevant. So we have
So what
Modi
you're
for
saying
life.
is Donald Trump and
The
Narendra
US
Modi
has
called
only
him up
two.
immediately and said, "Good idea, well done."
He
Cheers.
did. He did.
He did?
Oh my God, really?
How do you know?
No, he didn't do that. He said it someplace.
Guju connection.
That's a
how
good
it
idea.
goes.
Maybe we should think about something like that over
Oh my
here.
God.
He
I'm sure he
Donald
tweeted
Trump
about
said
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says something like that. Maybe
The
we
US
should
has got 2 term only, right?
10
Two-term
years.
max.
Max.
No, it's a 10-year max.
Oh, 10
How
years.
10 year
If
max?
you are a vice president who becomes a president, you're allowed to fight 2 elections. If you are there for less than half your term.
Oh, so 2 years of being VP plus
Yeah.
president.
So,
But
I mean,
that
like, let's
doesn't
say you're a
count.
vice
Yeah.
president,
8 years
president
as
dies
president.
while you're there.
Oh.
So then you become the president at that point in time.
Right.
You're allowed to fight 2 elections.
Oh, okay.
basically.
Okay, fine.
Wow.
What if you're at McDonald's flipping burgers? Then 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the
The
next
podcaster,
president. The next
4
president
years.
has to come from the humble. The last president they've got from the rich. So they need to go the other way around and get somebody from the plebs.
That's true.
So how bad can they do?
Plebs can stand for elections now.
As long as the pleb is not a racist, how does it matter?
I mean, they most likely are.
See, my belief, the joking about
It's the
this,
US.
is that no, everybody's a racist in some way or the other. Everybody's prejudiced. What are we going on about? Stop it. Right? Am I right, Amit? How many bald jokes have I made? It's not even funny after some time.
But you're not going to make policies that really don't benefit him or don't benefit
That's
him.
when the racist guy gets power. But yeah, all the same.
Well, there are lots of people who are racist, but that doesn't mean that you got to accept it and just let it go. No?
There are 2-3 races I don't like at all. For example, 400 meters. I feel it's a waste of time. It's not short. It's not. Okay, why are we doing this to ourselves? Assassination has set a standard, ladies and gentlemen, of great journalism on a podcast medium. What is the topic we were discussing? Jinping. Quickly, May, what do you think? You've been to China?
No, I've never. But my mom lived in Hong Kong during her schooling years.
That's a very volatile statement because Hong Kong is not happy being part of China.
Yeah.
And every day they are fighting for democracy. And every day people are getting slapped left, right and center. But that's in my house. But still, Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you all a question. May was supposed to move to the northeast, right?
Yeah, I'm still here. I don't
You're still
know.
here, but I'm asking you, did you help the BJP win the elections there? Because nobody knows what you do when you keep coming
You
back.
know what?
So it
Like-
sounds to me like you're doing something political. That's what it sounds like. You're
I'm
on
not
ground.
even kidding.
You have to
Like,
give us actual proof of what you were doing in these
What
years.
the hell were you
these
doing?
years.
Yeah, papers, please.
1 minute, she's got a
I will
tika.
provide you.
Oh my God.
I was running a momo stand, guys.
It's
That's what
May.
I was doing.
It's not May. It's May.
Smiley
It's
pamphlets on
Mayawati. The name has changed.
What have I been doing? Secretly, I'm a Malayali that works in the BJP.
How does this work now if the presidential term is taken out? Like, they still can go
There's
for
no
an
term.
election again, right?
No, so there's a party election, right? For the for
But
the
he's
Congress.
the leader of the party.
He's the leader of the
But
party.
if the
He's gonna
leader
win.
itself changes,
And
if the party changes the leader, then there's a new...
Then there's a new leader, but the party
my
will
God.
not
See,
change
it
the
doesn't matter
leader.
if the sycophants themselves around him said, let's
Correct.
do it this way. Or
Correct.
if he suggested it and they said, do it this way. It
Just
doesn't
a
matter.
quick question.
What matters is that they just absolutely look back at
Change the
monarchy.
constitution.
No, we're looking back
Yeah.
at pre-Greek civilization and looking at monarchy and medieval times and saying, okay, fine.
No, that you're seeing that now. You're seeing that with Jinping. You're seeing that with Putin. You're seeing that. I mean, like everywhere,
You're
just
scared to
across
name
the
more
board.
names.
Yeah, I was just
Back
going
the
to
hell
make
up.
that
So many
parallel
of
with
them.
like
Trump,
Afghan,
Modi.
like
Stop it.
Qatar.
You got these
Yeah, like,
authoritarianism.
What about Pakistan?
Like, lot of...
What about
there was
Bangladesh?
a protest and I mean, of course, you can't really protest anymore. But like, they also had the same "Not My President" line,
Okay.
which is something that clearly is going to be adopted world over.
I
Not my
think so.
president.
But what was, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, like,
No,
it
what was
feels
more
like...
confusing for me is that Donald Trump's reaction was, and he's not understood the old campaign, was when he heard Jinping did this,
Yeah.
was me too. And that's not the campaign. Technically, that's not the campaign. Am I wrong, me? I'm not sure. So is it that? It's not that. So it's like, me too. We must stand together. We must.
I have a question. We were just talking about like the leader not changing, right? Is this one of those like the same thing, this Amma or Karunanidhi, where they're like you just wait till they die?
Yeah.
Karunanidhi,
Like-
let me bring it up, and I hope nothing happens to him when we talk. But actually, 2 years back, if DMK came to power, actually, he wasn't pushing Stalin. He was actually going to be CM. Achyutanandan was 91 batting, if I'm not mistaken, in Kerala.
Yes.
91 batting?
My
How can you be the
God.
chief minister of a state?
Don't
You
understand.
can barely move.
I don't understand.
91? When do you want to retire?
Yeah.
What's your
There's no
94?
retirement age.
No, I mean, like, seriously, if you're
What's the
91 years old, how do you relate to people who are the majority of your
Amit,
population?
also,
right?
come on, there's a limit to how long people can be in public service, no?
Well,
LK Advani, they're saying
no,
it's
so
not going to be
honestly, I don't
Wow.
agree with that. I don't think that people should be forced into retirement. I don't agree with
But
that.
not
at all.
91. 91 is a
I
end of
don't-
You're saying
91?
politicians holding power.
No. I'm saying
not-
conceptually people should not be forced into retirement. I think that to say that even like in the civil service and stuff like that, in private corporations and stuff like that, we have this mandatory retirement age.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
Why?
Why should people have to
No,
retire?
I agree with.
But if people
Because
don't
you can't
retire,
have a
where
number-
will you
no.
get other young people get jobs?
That's
That's
logistics.
where our
That's
employment
logistics.
rate is
But
the
we
unemployment
don't
rate
know.
is
No.
There are especially males, frustrated males who are only 59 or 60 who
Yeah.
are fully capable of working,
Sure,
and
but-
they take it out on the family at home and they have nothing to do.
I get what you're saying, but I feel
You
like, okay,
don't-
that
at
is a
60
failure.
masturbating is not a
That's a
job.
failure of another kind. Like there should be a system where these people can do other work and not be in this kind of
Why?
service.
Why not? I mean, like, it's
No,
not
but
like
only they can contribute.
you're turning.
If they can contribute,
Why would they not be able to
But you're
contribute? Of
turning
course they would be.
employment
I'm
into
not saying that they all go
zero-sum
insane
if
at
you're
the
the
age
head
of
of
60.
sales in a MNC
Yeah.
at 59 and you perform superbly, why should you not be there at 60?
I
It's
feel
not like it
that-
suddenly
And
drops
it's
to
the
6
same.
months
I've
later.
known friends whose dads were doctors and they've had to retire and they've been experts in their
Yeah,
field and
exactly.
literally like having to retire when you are
Like
that
Dr.
good at your
Hafiz Saeed?
job.
No, he's different. not the guy.
No.
Same guy.
Again, you see the way you're describing it, it's as if that employment is a zero-sum game, which it's not. It's not. The more capable people you have running your businesses, and I'm not. I mean, like, if you're not capable, you're going to retire the second you
I buy
can,
that.
right?
This 58 or 59 is not
Yeah.
going to work, man, because there are a lot of people who perform really well in their 60s.
Yeah.
So then you're saying there should not be any sort of retirement
Nobody should be
age.
able to force somebody
Well,
into
There are not
It's a
going
tough
to be
one.
more jobs
No,
in
it's
the
a tough one
world.
because
There are
if
only
you-
a limited number
No,
of
you-
jobs,
you-
Who said that?
unfortunately.
Where does that
In
come from?
In
That is
public
not
sector,
true.
in
That is
public
not
sector, there are
true.
finite number of jobs.
Children,
But then
listen to
public
that
sector
teacher.
public sector is a very small. It
No,
should
no.
be a very
But
small.
listen, Amit, to hers is a mathematical point, clinical, which is birth death. All right, so you can have this much birth if you have this much death. Otherwise, it's chaos and anarchy.
But
so
that
her
is-
point is, if you don't retire people at the top, you can't bring people in from the bottom.
But I
which
don't-
means you retired 73 or whatever, but then the guy at 21 doesn't get a job. He's
I
going to
disagree with that. I'll tell you why I disagree with that so intensely. It's not even funny.
Oh my
okay?
God.
Intensely.
Intensely.
Oh, God. As I was
the-
saying, Commando Comics, Himmel, schnell, eins, zwei, drei. Go on.
What you're
Don't know why I'm
saying
that.
presupposes a zero-sum infrastructure here, right? It assumes that a job is created and a job is static, that there is nothing that is going to cause more employment. When you have somebody who is more capable, he's creating more value.
Fred
By
Eichen.
creating more value, when
Have
you're
you
creating more
studied
value, you're then at
economics?
that point in time, you're looking... Yeah, it is. I mean, like, it is economics. It's basic economics.
So what he's saying is a
double thank
successful
you.
entrepreneur or a successful person in an organization will be able to create more jobs. Hence, it doesn't apply. The maths doesn't
But
apply.
then, why are you saying that politicians should retire if they
I'm
can
not saying
continue
a
to work?
politician should
You can't have
retire.
that. You can't have it only for one
You're saying
industry.
they won't be able to relate to the people they are
I think
governing.
that they won't. I don't think that you should elect a politician who's 91 years old, but at the same time, I don't think that he should be forced into retirement. These are two different things.
I feel like
I mean, in the old days, the leaders who died at 32, like Alexander.
that makes
What the hell
sense.
is that going on? These buggers they live forever. I mean, your
No,
great
but
grandchildren
this
are.
guy, I just think like this guy's 91. Does he like where
So
is
that-
your
so we
memory
give-
as well?
so
Does he even
that-
remember that
and
he's
that-
like,
given you- we've given you-
those are issues those are reasons not to elect him. Those are reasons not to vote for him. Those are
Atal
not
Bihari
reasons
Vajpayee was
to-
how old towards the end? 80? Just about touching it?
Yeah,
and not in good shape. You
yeah.
can't be. I mean, he was a lovely guy and all that, but at the end, he was, he was suffering clearly health-wise. So
And,
that's a little scary because
again,
nuclear,
those are reasons
nuclear button,
not to vote
you
for
know,
them. Those are reasons for them to be removed from their internal party as the leaders of the party. But those are not
Some are
reasons to say
saying
that you have to
that
force
Rahul
them to
Gandhi is too
retirement.
old already.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
But mostly
hey.
opposition.
But he's not young.
So you know what? I just
He's
I just
45.
read something.
That's not young.
Okay, you know what really blew my mind?
Okay.
Prince Charles. He's turning 70 this year.
Oh, I thought
What?
I thought
He's
the
turning
years.
70 this year.
Yeah.
He is turning
But
70 years old
but
this
when you're
year.
the Prince of Wales, you can make up an age. Nobody can say anything. You say, today I'll be 70.
But he's turning 70 this year, is waiting and has been preparing his entire life for a job,
But you
which he
know
still doesn't have.
And still stays with his mom. What about that? People point fingers at me. I stay with my mom, so it doesn't mean you're a failure. I mean, it does, but come on. Just a social failure. We still earn money, pay tax. You know? Does he earn money, pay tax? He's sitting on some money.
He's sitting on money.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I don't think he has to pay. Does he have to pay tax?
I don't
I've seen
know. I
close
don't know
ups.
the answer to
Is he
that.
even earning money?
Well, yeah, he
No,
has
they
so
own
much
land.
money.
They own
so
lots
much
of land.
That's
So
that,
then, yeah,
so,
revenue.
It's almost like some revenue is given to them, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I
Isn't
think
like
they
the
own a bunch of
taxpayers' money
stuff, right?
paying for them just to be there?
No,
Because
I
they
think
were
they
born
own a
once.
bunch of stuff. I mean, like, yeah, the taxpayers.
Yeah.
They
I heard they own Brunei,
In
parts of Saudi
history.
Arabia, a little bit of Tel Aviv, Haryana for sure, because no Englishman wants to go there. So they bought it, just kept it there. Yeah.
All right.
What else do we have?
What else do we have?
Oh, the Twitter suspension.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
It only affects so few of people. I feel like it's such a big news for people who are on Twitter
Yeah.
and people who
The
care
fake
about
Twitter,
it.
Rati?
Yeah. A lot of them were deleted and
Deleting
suspended.
their-
Yeah,
Cutting, huh?
yeah. So basically, they were just trying to get rid of
Anybody we
accounts.
know?
which are-
No,
I
these
don't
are just
think
meme
so.
pages, basically.
Yeah.
Like the ones that, steal content from other people and then get
Or what about the
massive
abusive
numbers.
trollers?
Those we have no
Those
news on
nothing
yet.
yet. So what I did hear is that they're figuring out the authentication system, so it becomes a self-authentication system, and that seems to be something that'll happen.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like Twitter has done nothing to stop abusive accounts at all. Like, during the Oscars, they aired
Hey,
that
but you guys, there's a bit of a
ad.
hypocrisy, in the sense, it's like Hyde Park, you want a free and fair playing ground.
Yeah.
You say, open the internet and let people say what they want. One sec, don't get into right wing and don't get into Third Reich.
Okay, yeah.
No, but
I'm
if
not
you're
even
going to have it
getting
that
into
way,
that.
then
Yeah.
it has to be free and fair and everybody says what they want. Or you don't.
We're not saying
It
they
can't-
should not say what they want, but a lot of the abuse we're talking about is reporting behavior that is literally being horrible to women and misogynistic and saying, I will come to your house and
But
rape
it's
you.
a free and fair. My point is, I'm not getting into
That's an
content.
actual threat to you.
But make up your mind. What do you want to do?
No, but a threat is a different thing. Now, threat you can. But see, again, these are different things, right? I mean, like
You're
you should
not
be able to
understanding.
say
My
whatever.
argument is not on the
right.
content at all.
Yeah.
My argument is on the fact that it's either free and fair, in which
It is
in case
free.
they can threaten you.
I think
because
it is
that is
free.
the medium. No, listen. It's not a moral judgment. Don't jump on my throat and strangle me. I'm just saying that it's open. If it's an open playing field, it's an open playing field.
You can so it's possible for. So I don't think Twitter should be responsible for threats that are on its platform per se. But if somebody makes a threat to you, you should be able to report that person.
So
that person
now
is
we
reported.
come to the answer to all
You
this,
should be
which
able to
is
report that
we
again.
human beings are infants and morons and adolescents and delinquents.
What's your point?
And,
That we all
no,
know.
and you need to be policed. There's no sense of freedom or democracy
No,
because you need to be
absolutely. No,
policed.
but I mean, like, I think-
Hence, we have morons like this who are threatening a girl, and that's only one. There's worse. There's those suicide sites and all that. I mean, it doesn't end.
There's a lot of stuff like that. See, there's a lot of nasty stuff that's on the internet. But I mean, like, the internet's a tool, right? I mean, like, you're going to get good with it, you're going to
Yeah,
get bad
the
with it.
internet
You're
is
not
the
gonna-
world. It's good stuff and bad stuff.
Both
You
are
can
there. So,
choose
I mean,
what
like,
you want.
99% of us are sort of normal in whatever way, but we're talking about that 1% of schmucks out there. And there are
Yeah.
schmucks out there.
Yeah, there are lots of assholes out there. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
I'm talking about outside our office here.
yeah, I know.
In your
I'm
main
referring to the
lobby.
same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there are lots of people like that who are just like, nasty people. That doesn't mean that Twitter is responsible to say that nasty people are not allowed. Twitter
That's
has
what
to
I'm saying,
act
yeah.
when nasty people do nasty stuff.
Yeah, but
Have
when
you
you,
guys ever
when
been
you
to Hyde
report
Park when
something,
they-
Yeah.
when you report something on Twitter,
Then
Twitter
you-
will always most likely say, we didn't find anything wrong with it. There are so many instances.
Wow.
Really?
There are lots of...
but that's also grey areas where you can argue. You can play devil's advocate. In some cases you
Like
can't.
what?
Yeah.
What you mentioned about threatening the lady, there's no way they can.
That
do.
happens all
But if
the
I'm
time.
taking a political viewpoint and I'm leaning towards left or right,
no,
it's
that's
not
fine.
necessary.
That is different. That you cannot
No, this is a
control. You
threat
can't
to your
control
life
what
that
your brain
someone-
is.
yeah.
If I say Pepsi is good for you, I mean they can't come after me.
Of course not.
25 spoons of
That's
sugar,
your
but I
personal
want that.
opinion.
It's my
That's your
problem.
personal opinion. That's not threatening me. That's
I
not
think
saying
it's-
I'm going to make you
Yeah.
drink Pepsi and
And,
ruin your
and
teeth.
if
or
you don't
whatever.
like cola, are you racist? It's so stupid. Some people are stupid.
No, but I think you're right. I mean, like, they
Listen,
have
we-
issues when it
Like
comes
during
to...
the Oscars,
yeah.
they aired a video. They aired an ad that was talking about how Twitter is a safe space for women. They had all these women directors like Issa Rae and a bunch of
Okay.
these. Who's the lady
So
who
you
made
could only remember one.
A Wrinkle in Time?
Huh? After all your feminism, you could remember only one
They
woman
had Eva
director.
DuVernay on it.
What the hell happened
Basically
here?
saying Twitter's a safe space for women to come use their voice, and you are given the freedom here to be who you are and be creative. And literally, so many of these women in those ads, when report about abuse, nothing is done. Nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem.
It is.
We have to end it here because we have AMAs to do
Okay.
as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll go into that and fight more there. But I just
Okay.
want to ask you, if you're in a threesome and you're treating people badly, is it Me 3, the campaign? Okay, we'll do the AMAs. We'll come back.
Hello there, my name is Naveen Narona, and as a gay person in India, I get asked a lot of stupid questions.
Beta, is it LGBT or eligibility?
How do two men procreate?
Bro, is Grindr better than Tinder or what?
We answer all these questions and much more on my podcast, Keeping It Queer, where I talk to individuals from the LGBT community in India and learn about their personal stories. Catch all the episodes on the IVM podcast app or any other podcasting app you like. Till then, keep it queer.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
AMA is the most popular part of our program because it's closer to the end, so people listen to it. All right, me.
Okay, so this is from Joy. Why has Cyrus stopped saying happy listening mothers, little pause, and fathers in the show intro?
I'll do it right now. Happy listening mothers and fathers. I hate fathers.
Well, that's not quite how you do it.
I should do a show called Polo Dial in 1993 when you weren't born and you were just thought of. And
In 1983, I wasn't born.
Yeah. And
1983, I was not born.
So the producer told me, so it's a dial-in show. The producer told me after some time, he said, listen, bro. Oh, sorry, the engineer. He said, when you talk to girls, your voice is really loud and active. And when you talk to boys, I have to keep playing with the dial. There's it's not a small difference, a huge difference. So you're interested, uninterested. So I was completely exposed on that one. Hi, this is Nandita. Hi, Nandita. Welcome to Polo. Hi, this is Nandish. Yeah, what? Tell me. Is that reverse sexism or sexism?
Personal biases.
Personal biases. Okay, this is from Lavanya.
Lavanya.
The jury is out.
Okay. I heard Cyrus remark that JD must be really poor since she takes the bus, not the local train. I used to be snobbish like him too, but public transport is cheap, less polluting, and drives diverse passengers.
JD is not poor. She goes
I
to
used
Pune.
to be snobbish like
she goes
him.
to Pune. She used to,
And they say Cyrus should try it at least for extra comic material. Well done.
But let me tell you, she's not been passing judgment. Huh? She just said you should try it like you should try anything else in life. It's very sweet.
Like, why don't you have vanilla ice cream if you're
exactly.
drinking all the time?
You should take the metro.
By the way,
The metro is really good.
Hey, the metro is good.
I have taken public transport, but where I live,
In what year, Cyrus?
in college years. So the problem
We
is
weren't
that
born.
as elitists living in South Bombay, you see the bus stops also aren't correctly put. So for us, you can ask Amit, 106 from where I was in Churchgate area, and then it goes all the way to Hanging Gardens. I've got a 12-15 minute walk, which for us is huge. Okay, and there's no other option of transport from there.
By the way, you were taking public transport 30 years ago when it wasn't as crowded.
No, listen, we had the same problems. We traveled with the girls, and one girl was somebody touched me. Then I remember punching the guy or hitting him, and then she said, not that guy. And he was, wait, there's more. He was the oldest, smallest guy in the bus. And then the other guy started pounding me. So first we went to a sexist issue, and we were the Romeos who were fighting for the women. Then it became a classist issue, and we got hammered by all the leftists in the bus. Man, it was difficult times. Yeah, what's wrong with that girl?
No, but from a practical perspective, all of these places are far, man. The bus stops are far. The train stations, man. The train
Grant
stations,
Road.
the closest train station is 25 minutes from my house.
25 minutes. If you don't take a taxi and you walk from Grant Road, you and I, Amit, will take 40 minutes to walk.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a
40
minute.
minutes is not funny.
Easy.
Well, actually, thankfully,
And
I have
uphill. Second half uphill.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I live in Andheri. I at least have the metro.
Yeah,
but like,
and I take the metro.
getting to Andheri station from
understand, guys.
Lokanwala was like at least an hour.
Exactly. It's far.
Guys, the whole
And that's just
metro
traffic.
concept is that all of us have to give it up. Means poor, rich, whatever, car driver, train driver. Everyone has to give it up like in Europe. And everybody is now, it's all leveling tool.
Yeah.
And we all go. So they've tried to actually give you options where it's closer, almost as possible.
Correct.
You network
Yeah,
the
the
entire
metro is
city.
awesome,
And you
yeah.
hardly have to walk.
Yeah.
But
Let's see
our
what
neighborhood
happens.
is still nothing.
They're nothing.
Yeah.
You don't
I mean,
wanna-
the metro is expensive for most people, I would
See, if we
imagine,
use
compared to the local train.
Sharanya, if you use the car, they've defeated the purpose.
That's true.
The purpose is only to make this city bearable, and the bearable thing is only when, like you have in New York, anyone will tell you.
Yeah,
guys
you
have
gotta
gone there.
walk, yeah.
You have the CEO of Goldman Sachs, of course, it's gone now. It's, on your right, in the same subway, you got a McDonald's burger flipper on the left.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Here we'll have what? We'll have Ashish from Malad who wants to be actor, and the other one from Roadies who's already actor. Oh, what a life!
That is Andheri. So this is from Pallavi, who says, this is such a random question. Have you linked your mobile phone to your Aadhaar?
But don't worry, Pallavi. Every 6 minutes on my telephone, I get a reminder.
Same here.
Government is doing
my God.
Government, let's salute you.
Their
You're doing your
due
job.
diligence,
You're doing
like,
your due
yeah.
diligence. Huh? I wish they could do
Jeez.
that for alarms. Dear central government, can you wake me up every 6 minutes? I'll give you a time.
I think I need to take a day off to go and link my Aadhaar to everything, man. I really feel like it's just gonna. I have to do 2 phones.
Just to get him to stop calling you.
Jeez, no kidding.
Why
Credit
did
cards,
Dear
bank
Why did you do it
accounts,
online?
everything.
Dear central government,
Not
give us
for
1 day
phones.
off.
Not for phones.
For your phone?
Not for phones. Phones you have to go and do
Paytm now you can't do it, right? You have to link your Aadhaar. And so now I have money in the Paytm, I can't take it back.
I can't send.
Unless I link
You can.
Aadhaar.
Okay.
You can take it
Yeah,
back.
I have to bring
There's
my
something
Aadhaar.
going on with
You can't
Paytm.
take
I
it
wasn't
back till you
sure.
link your Aadhaar.
I
Yeah.
haven't
don't
been
want
able.
my Aadhaar.
Yeah, I haven't been able to. So Pooja orders lunch for me, right?
Yeah.
So I send her money on
Yeah.
Paytm every so often, so she can do that. I haven't been able to send to her for a while.
Because
Me
But I
too.
know they
Is this
extended the
why?
date.
Yeah.
They've extended the
my
date
God.
from 31st.
Huh?
Haven't they extended the date?
But no, this is Paytm is something different. I think Paytm is the reason for this is because Paytm's become a bank now, right? So then now you need to do KYC.
Like
with them.
KYC, yeah.
Oops.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's why.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's
was
40
wondering why I've
rupees.
not been able to do
I think
that.
that's the reason. I don't know. I also know that there's another issue. My mom is having an issue with her Paytm working, and so again, I've done
This is
KYC
the
over there,
point.
so it's probably
This is the point
all
I'm trying to
related
ask.
to that.
So how's life in Pakistan? Are they doing better? Let's check. They may be doing better. We gotta
These are listen. We're talking about problems with conveniences, right? Things that were
What is the
super
point of
convenient.
a wallet if you have to link these things?
Yeah.
Then why would I just not
Yeah.
use my card or my
Well, no,
net
so I
banking?
mean, like at this point, I think WhatsApp is going to kill all of them, right?
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
like,
WhatsApp is
I
our
really do
favorite
think that
thing.
WhatsApp payments are going to be the one that
The
wins.
big
Yeah.
thing, right?
Because
Won't they end up having the same regulations at some point in India?
well, yeah, they will, but I mean, like, so there are two things, right? There's one is when you do business to person payments, and one is when you do person to person payments.
Yeah.
Person to person payments is what WhatsApp is concentrating
Yeah.
on right now, right? And so for that, I don't think, and also.
That's like the UPI system.
And it's based on UPI, right? So even when you're doing
But based on
business
UPI.
to this, the backend is UPI based. So all your KYC and stuff
It's
like
already
is
done from
already
your
taken
bank.
care
Oh,
of.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think
Freaking
that's why.
great.
Yeah, I think that's why WhatsApp's.
So what is this? Paytm will die.
I don't know, die.
Not die, but like-
in terms of the person
The
to person
convenience will
payments,
become,
at
it
least.
will be much easier
Paytm,
for
note to
WhatsApp.
Paytm, buck up quickly. Competition is coming.
No, they know this.
I think they know, yeah.
They know this. I mean, like they are not.
Is it Acha Din or Sacha Din? We have to find out.
Why did they become a bank? Because they know this stuff is coming, and they need to be able to kind of play in the same ecosystem.
So me with my old-fashioned credit card, which I go and put my PIN number, that's all dead, right?
No, that's
I will
still
just
there.
like a dinosaur
That's
hanging
still
around the
there,
back.
yeah.
That's still
Some
useful.
young kid will be WhatsApping $10,000 million for his Ferrari. His father's broke.
But WhatsApp, actually, the thing with WhatsApp is that what's so interesting is it's really kind of everybody has it, right? So anybody who you have to send money
Yeah,
to, there's no
yeah,
can download
yeah.
Paytm and
Yeah.
then transfer to
That's
you.
true.
There's none of
And
that.
it cuts across classes also.
Correct.
So you don't have a
Everybody
No,
problem.
has it.
absolutely.
So the Singwala will say, yeah, no problem, WhatsApp karo, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing Paytm anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
many
the
of them
chai
are
guy
doing
outside my
Paytm.
office has
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Paytm
yeah.
board. It's
See, Indians are very
6
industrious.
rupees.
We pick up fast. I'm
Yeah,
not worried
that's
about that.
true, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last
that-
question.
Last
Running out of time to take
question,
106 bus back home. Hello.
This is from Vishnu Priya, who has it's like there's a 10A and 10B kind of question.
Oh, two-parter.
So two-parter. I remember Cyrus interviewing Shoaib Akhtar and also Bill Clinton on TV.
Fast baller from Rawalpindi. But I play in Scotland, so my accent is changed. But after the phone rings, I become Punjabi. And I always will rough up the ball at the beginning. Pull the boys who can make the ball talk. I make the ball talk. A great guy. I love it.
The next line is like
Leo. You can't go wrong with Leos. I've realized.
the next line is literally. I hope Cyrus will be able to remember.
yes.
Yes, he does.
Actually, I really liked him. I think he's a really nice guy. He's now, for cricket lovers, he's now a builder.
Oh, really?
And he's
wow.
taken, somewhere in Rawalpindi, there's a part, an area which is his. And he only, and this is not racist, but this is the subcontinent at its best, India, Pakistan, both. He only sells the land to foreigners. Because they pay on time, and they leave at the right time.
And the next, the second part to the two-parters, were you intimidated when you had to interview Bill Clinton?
Well, I wasn't intimidated then. I was intimidated in the toilet because they gave us timings like 3:30, if I remember correctly. He'll be here 9 minutes. We rehearsed it for 2 days in Barcelona, and all that, and all these third world country kids around, and I have to anchor it. So at 3:23, as you can well imagine, I wanted to pee. Because of the anxiety, nervousness, performance, all that.
Yeah.
So I went to pee. Barcelona, the convention center, the urinal was like 8,000 feet. It was like a whole Navi Mumbai. Whole Navi Mumbai, but cleaner. And so I was in the middle, and it's true, so I was peeing, and then these FBI guys came in, 7'3" and all these ex-NBA athletes. They are what you see in the videos. They're actually talking, McGavin, you get me, Roger, you can't answer what they're saying. But it's very intimidating, and my pee stopped, because I don't like, strangers. Most men can't pee with strangers. And then Bill Clinton walked in. Because they were shouldering me like this, back to me, and standing, about 4 or 5 of them, and somebody walked in with him, and he walked in singing, I remember El Paso, which is a famous cowboy song which I grew up on as well. So I heard him whistling El Paso, which is, out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
He comes while he pees.
Yeah, so he was whistling. He comes in. A Mexican girl, by the way, not Donald Trump. Then comes in, and he did an Indian thing. You know, it's 8,000 feet of urinals. He comes and stands next to me. What? So my pee died that night. My pee never came out. It stayed in Spain. I never peed. So much for Spanish fly. And then he's 6'2" and I'm 5'8", right? So I'm below that little slab in the urinal, and he's right a little above it because it's at a 6-foot cutoff. So suddenly his blue eyes look at me and he goes, "Howdy, little guy." Little guy. The connotations of little guy. I'm standing with my thing in my hand, and I'm with the president of the US, and he's noticed me and noticed only one thing about me. I got only one quality, which we will have an interview in a few minutes. That was a terrible experience. I'll tell you the whole story some other time. We run out of time.
That was so good.
It's all true.
That is amazing.
Life is worse than art. I'm telling you right now. And I was really bad at art. All right. Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online, and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called May.
And that's what Cyrus says.
He bends down to test the warm water for his bath. He comes here to quench his thirst for a hot shower and some podcasts. You can witness how he enjoys having other people talk about cool stuff in his bathroom. Indeed, it helps him with his loneliness. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcast.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.